When King Charles III stood beside Queen Camilla and made a quiet but powerful request, no one expected her to break down in tears. It wasn't a royal command. It wasn't about protocol or duty. It was something personal, something from the heart, that revealed a side of Charles rarely seen by the public. This emotional moment didn't just move Camilla. It reminded everyone watching that behind the titles and crowns are real people, with real feelings, facing real struggles. What was it about this request that touched her so deeply? And how is this moment changing the way people see both Charles and Camilla? For years, King Charles has spoken about thinking ahead. He's always looked beyond the present moment, especially when it comes to the environment and climate change. Long before it became a global issue, he was warning the world about its dangers. But recently, he's had to shift that long-term thinking onto something much more personal: his health, his legacy, and the future of the monarchy itself. Queen Camilla has always stood beside him, but her role hasn't been easy. She was once one of the most criticized women in Britain. Over time, she's worked hard to earn public trust, quietly shaping a new image. Yet one emotional moment between her and Charles changed everything. When he shared his heartfelt request, asking her to support not just him, but the monarchy in ways she never imagined, she realized just how heavy the crown truly is. Her tears weren't just about love. They were about understanding the weight of responsibility they both carry. One person who understands this weight better than anyone is Princess Anne. The bond between Anne and Charles is something special. From childhood summers at Balmoral to royal engagements in adulthood, they've always shared a closeness built on trust and duty. Anne has never chased the spotlight. She's simply done the work, year after year, attending hundreds of events, supporting charities, and representing the crown with quiet dignity. Unlike other members of the family who have stepped back or sparked controversy and never flinched. And Charles sees that. He trusts her. He listens to her, even when she says things he doesn't want to hear. That honesty is rare inside palace walls, and it's one of the reasons Anne has become such an important figure, especially now. As Charles faced a life-changing cancer diagnosis in early 2024, Anne's role became even more critical. While Camilla supported him emotionally, it was Anne who offered the kind of advice only someone who's lived their entire life in the royal system could give. Charles was 76 when he became king, the oldest person to ever take the British throne. After waiting a lifetime to lead, he was met with a serious health crisis that shook the public and the palace to its core. At the same time, the Princess of Wales, Catherine, revealed her own battle with cancer. Her decision to step away from royal duties to focus on treatment left the monarchy in a vulnerable position. Catherine had become the symbol of calm, grace, and modern royal values. Without her, the family had to quickly adjust. That's when Camilla and stepped up more than ever before. Camilla, once doubted by many, showed strength, compassion, and resilience. She adjusted her schedule to stay by Charles's side through hospital visits and treatments, while also maintaining her royal commitments. And, as always, kept working, no complaints, no drama, just pure commitment. Behind closed doors, the situation was even more intense. Charles's treatment required weekly hospital visits and long periods of rest, but he struggled to slow down. To him, rest felt like failure. He had waited too long to become king and didn't want to seem weak. But eventually, he had to listen to his doctors, his family, and who reminded him that showing vulnerability isn't a weakness. It's a strength. Even on his worst days, Charles continued to read through the red boxes filled with government documents. He met with prime ministers, ambassadors, and officials, often while exhausted and unwell. There were moments when staff saw him quietly leaning on his desk, fighting fatigue. Moments that reminded everyone that even kings are human. Camilla's support during this period was unmatched.
She didn't complain.
She didn't seek praise. She was simply there, steady, kind, and present. Charles often confided in her during hospital visits, expressing his worries about the monarchy's future. Would people still support the crown? Was William ready to take on more responsibility? These fears weren't just personal, they were about the survival of the institution he had been born into. And they weren't unfounded. With both the King and Princess of Wales facing health challenges, the royal family had to rethink everything: how it operates, how it connects with the public, and who will carry the weight moving forward. That person is Prince William. Over the last year, William has transformed. Once seen as the supportive son and heir-in-waiting, he now moves with the confidence of a man preparing to lead. He's attending more high-level meetings, representing the crown at major events, and even receiving daily government updates traditionally reserved for the monarch. William is not just fulfilling his duties. He's adding his own touch, visiting communities, speaking directly with the public, and showing a level of compassion and awareness that's winning him respect from both palace insiders and ordinary citizens. He's not trying to be his father or his grandmother. He's building his own way forward. Those close to the royal family say William has already started making key decisions behind the scenes. He's balancing royal expectations with the need for modernization. He's also fiercely protective of his family, especially Princess Catherine and their children. Even as Catherine undergoes treatment, William has made it a point to keep their home life as stable as possible. He walks the children to school, helps with their routines, and shields them from the public eye. The strength of William and Catherine's partnership is now seen as a guiding light for the monarchy. Together, they represent a bridge between old traditions and the future. The public sees it, the palace feels it, and even Charles, in his quiet moments, acknowledges it. William's readiness gives him comfort in a time of personal uncertainty. Looking back, William's path has never been easy. Born in 1982, he was the first child of Charles and Diana. His life was watched from day one. But Diana tried to make sure he and Harry had as normal a childhood as possible. She took them to theme parks, visited hospitals with them, and showed them a world far beyond the palace walls. But childhood wasn't all smiles. The divorce of his parents and the tragic loss of his mother in 1997 changed everything. William was just 15 when Diana died, and walking behind her coffin in front of millions left a mark on him that would last a lifetime. He learned then what it meant to grieve in public, to carry both pain and duty at the same time. As he got older, William embraced responsibility. At 21, he was made a Counselor of State, allowed to act on behalf of the Queen. He traveled the world, completed royal tours, and trained for leadership. His education included specialized courses to prepare him for managing royal lands and estates. But what truly shaped him was life experience, seeing how the world worked, how people struggled, and how the monarchy could still make a difference. Over time, William has blended the traditions of royalty with the values of his generation. He's focused on mental health, the environment, and supporting veterans, causes close to his heart. He doesn't speak just to fulfill a duty. He speaks to be heard, to relate, and to connect. Today, as Charles fights to regain his strength, William is stepping in, not as a replacement, but as a reinforcement. The king may still reign, but the future is clearly beginning to take shape under William's calm leadership. Those within the palace see it. The public feels it. And Queen Camilla, the woman once doubted, now sees it too. Her tears on that day weren't just for Charles. They were for the future they've all worked so hard to protect. The royal family is at a turning point. Old wounds remain, pressures are growing, and the world continues to question the relevance of the monarchy. But within the palace, something powerful is happening. Bonds are strengthening, roles are evolving, and the next generation is rising, not with grand speeches, but with quiet strength and steady hands. Charles's health may have changed the timeline, but it hasn't weakened the legacy. With Princess Anne's guidance, Camilla's loyalty, and William's growing leadership, the British monarchy is holding on through one of its most fragile moments. But what happens next? Can the royal family continue to balance duty with personal healing? Will William's leadership be enough to carry them into a new era? Let us know what you think in the comments. And if you found this story moving or insightful, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more royal updates and emotional moments behind the crown.